So how do you juggle your time between work, kids, and running a family?
That's a good question. And for as a modern woman and a mum, it is a juggling act, but it's a question of prioritising. And you know, the list is all the mums here certainly know that there's husbands, partners, children, home, work, and then whatever else life has going on, because there's always something going on for us in our lives. So yeah, it's a matter of prioritising the fact that I want my children, I have two teenage girls, and I want them to see that I am putting a priority on myself. I put myself on the list, actually, because I wasn't on it before. And certainly if I was on there, I was at the bottom of the list.
And so you're at the bottom of the list.
Yeah.
How is that affecting people around you?
Well, there's not really a lot left to give to the other people in your life if you're not giving to yourself. And somebody said to me once, you can't pour from an empty jug. And that's so true. So, you know, as women, there's so many areas in our life that we have to show up and be present. And as I say, it's about, I've been at the opposite. I look at the health spectrum, and I've been at the opposite end of it, been in the average end of it for a very long time, for the first part of my life. And then I all of a sudden gradually found myself slipping to the very unhealthy end of that spectrum. And that's not a good place to be. I was very unhealthy, unfit, unwell, and just incredibly unhappy. So my children have seen that. They want me to go to that place. And so what it is about now is about me. My quest is to have a clear mind and a strong body, and to stay at the optimal end of the fitness spectrum, the health spectrum, because it is a spectrum, isn't it? And that's where I want to be, and I want to show my girls that that is why I'm doing that. That's why I have to take this for myself, because if I go down, everything goes down. And we've had, you know, scenarios in the past where my husband and I have had some very big challenges, personal challenges, of massive things going on in life where we've had really big issues to deal with on a personal level of like financial stuff. You know, we're doing a very big refurbishment to our home. And when I first came into Vision, that's where I was at, and I thought, gosh, I really need to be on top of my game here. I need to get fit, I need to get healthy, so that I can do what has to be done in my life. And my girls have seen that.
Yeah, and just quickly as well, it's like, hands up if anyone's got circumstances where you've got 10 things going on, or you've got all these people in your life that you're thinking about, and when you focus on one element of yourself and feel guilty. Hands up. Hands up high. Well, hands up when you take time out for yourself and you feel guilty about it. Used to, yeah. So how did you get past that point, going through, because when you first started, going through renovations, like just starting, everything's hectic, going crazy.
I was the project manager.
Project manager. So how do you go, okay, because I remember, you know, you used to call me up saying, Nathan, can't make it, rah, rah, and just go, no, you're getting in here. You know, how do you actually say, okay, I'm putting the phone away. I'm not reporting back to that plumber or that electrician or rah, rah, until X amount of time. How do what sort of motivated you to say, this is my time, I'm going to focus on my time now?
Because it was a matter of life and death for me. Like, it was that serious. I was so unwell, I couldn't get out of bed in the morning, literally, quite literally. And for me, it's more about my head. I need to do the fitness thing to stay where I need to be up here. Yeah. So, I mean, the effects of being overweight, for me, were devastating. It was affecting me mentally, physically, emotionally. And so what I had to do was to make it a priority, because it was a matter of life and death. I couldn't get out of bed in the morning. I would literally wake up and think, I can't face it. I can't face this day. I can't do it. Because I was so overweight that I found it really hard to get around. I could hardly walk around. I'd be talking to my mother on the phone and she'd be saying, what are you doing? Are you running? I'd say, no, I'm just walking and, you know, talking on the phone to you. But I could hardly breathe. I was so unfit. And so that affected my state of mental health. And I found that I was starting to get really down. And waking up in the morning and thinking I've got to go through the motions of what am I going to wear, and nothing fit. So, you know, I just got to the point where I thought, I can't do this. And then to have this major life event go on, it was a case of, okay girl, you've got to pull yourself together, you have to do this. Otherwise, everything's going to go down. So that's where I was at when I walked in through the doors.
And so, did you have to make that decision, or did someone have to force you to make that decision?
No, because I'd done many things, as I said in the video prior. I'd done many different food programs. You all know what they are, I'm sure many of you that I know. And gym memberships. I even did a personal training course myself. That's how into health and fitness I have been since I had my children. But still, I walked in through the doors here as an overweight person.
And how much weight have you lost?
Nearly 18 kilos. And I relate to what David was saying. It is a process. The entire thing is a process. Just as it's a process to get to where you are. Like, you know, my father said to me, like, how have you let yourself get like this? You know, just before I came into vision. He said, your mother and I are asking the question, how did you go from being where you were as a slim, healthy person to being the way you are now? How did that happen? And it happens because you're not actually aware of it happening. It's the process of change, I guess, but in a negative way, because it occurs when you don't really. It's like the fable of the frog, putting a frog in boiling water. They say you put the frog in boiling water and we jump out and survive. But if you put it in a pot of cold water and boil it, it will boil to death. So it happens whilst you don't actually realise that it's happening. And so I decided, okay, I need to do something and I need to do it fast. And as soon as I walked in and met Nathan, and met Zane actually first of all, Zane, and he talked me through the program, and because of everything I'd done in the past, I thought, bingo, this is going to work for me. Because it was the food, the exercise, and the motivation. And that was what it hadn't, even when I did the personal training course, I realised there was something missing. And what it was the nutritional component. That just, it didn't sit well with me because I knew that there was something big missing. Yep. So when I came in, I was educated and I knew exactly what was going to work and what wasn't. And when the program was presented to me and I knew that it was about education, which is what it's about, relearning what you have to do, I knew it would work for me. So I was pretty motivated from the start because I had to do it. Yep. And everybody knew it, husband, kids, and it was like, this is at the top of the list, guys. This has to be done for me if I'm going to survive.
So the idea today is to get that commonality. So that anyone sitting in the audience can go, okay, there's someone up here, there's a few people up here that are actually in similar situations to me right now as well. So yet again, feel free to ask questions as you go along. Throw it up, interrupt, you know, be rude, do whatever you like. And just before we go on to Mandy, since you began, you know me, Jacqui.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're still on you.
Sorry, guys.
Since we began, I guess you began your journey with Vision. How has this impacted your marriage with Maddie?
Well, Maddie and I came in together. I came in and then I said, Maddie, you've got to do this. We have to do it together because we've got to be strong and we have to get through the next challenge that we're presented with. And that's what's got us through. So as a couple, we've become stronger. Matt would say to me, God, not another fat dress. No, I don't want to see another pregnancy dress. Can't you just wear some of the stuff you used to wear? Well, no, because I lost my style and lost myself. I was in there somewhere where I couldn't get out. And so we became stronger as a couple because of what we've gone through and the fact that I've got a clear mind, I've got a strong body, and I can do what has to be done in my life. And as a couple, we're stronger. And Matt looks, I could see him looking at me before thinking, where's my wife? Is she in there somewhere? Could you let her out, please? And now I see him looking at me and I'm back, and I know I'm back. That's the main thing. I think, hey, I'm here. I'm back into life, and he recognises me, and he's glad to have me back, I think, aren't you? In the physical side, of course, as well.
Just quietly.
But Matt wouldn't say anything beforehand, though, would he, to say that you had put on weight?
Yes, he did.
He did he?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
He made no bones about it, because the same thing, the family would just go, what's going on? And he said to me, what's happening with you? And he'd been supportive of everything I'd done in the past, but nothing worked. Not long term, he'd seen my efforts. And he would come out with it and he'd say to me, God, I can't look at you in those dresses again, they're hideous. And now if he looks at anything remotely caftan or flowing, no, guys, seriously, I went into a situation with Matt in Adelaide, and I had somebody ask me, was I pregnant? Because there was someone in the family that was pregnant. That person wasn't showing at that point, but because of the way I looked, they said, oh, you must be the pregnant one. So, like, guys, seriously, and for someone that had been a really fit, healthy person, that was very, very humbling, let me tell you. So, yeah.
Can I just ask you a question? You said you tried a whole heap of different things. You seemed well educated through the personal training program. You understood nutritional information.
Yes.
So did you think you just got to a crisis point where you found the right place at the right time also?
No, because I'd never actually had all of the components together. So there might have been the food, or there might have been the exercise, but you were left to your own devices in terms of motivation. But with this, it was everything. They were covering the whole lot. So there was a personal training session for the strength and the weight training, and even personal trainers need to be trained. Everybody needs a trainer. So there was that aspect of it, and then on top of that, we got the nutritional education program, teaching you what to eat, when to eat it, all about the timing. And I agree with David, the food pyramid is just completely and utterly not conducive to modern day living. So, you know, we no longer roam the earth looking for food. I mean, all that did was serve the American Agricultural Department, really. But certainly that's not appropriate to our life, to our modern day living. But yeah, when I came in, I realised that it was the whole package, and I just knew they were covering all the bases. And I need structure, so I knew that.